Greetings to our respected subscribers and guests of the channel. The word carcer, meaning punishment cell, comes from the Latin word carcer, which meant a dungeon or prison. A carcer exists in every prison without exception. This is a special facility where inmates who have violated established prison rules are held. In carcer, prisoners are kept under a stricter regime than the one applied to them in regular cells. Carcer is designed specifically for solitary confinement. This is how the prison administration punishes those who are at fault. As a rule, the premises assigned for a carcer are more than modest in size, although by law, a carcer is supposed to be suitable for inmates because the main point of this punishment lies in isolation and lack of communication, not physical suffering. In reality, prison punishment cells often fail to meet these requirements. A carcer can either be dark or light. The floor is supposed to be wooden or asphalt, solid and even, and the door must be sturdy, similar to a standard cell door, equipped with a massive prison lock. The door must contain a viewing peephole for monitoring the cell and observing the inmate, as well as a food hatch, secured with a railway-style lock through which food is passed to the prisoner. The carcer must also have a window measuring 50 by 50 centimeters, covered with metal bars and an external metal shield. This shield acts as a kind of shutter, blocking the window from the outside. Inside, the window is additionally covered with a mesh. The carcer must be illuminated by an electric light bulb of low wattage. It is installed either on the ceiling or in a special niche above the door. The lamp must also be protected by fine metal mesh so the inmate cannot reach it. In addition to everything already listed, the carcer must contain a sanitary unit, a bunk made of a metal frame or wooden platform fixed directly to the wall, which can be raised or lowered when necessary, a stool fixed in one position, and a table, also permanently fixed either to the floor or the wall. Usually, the prison administration independently selects a room that later becomes a carcer. Contrary to regulations, it may turn out to be a tiny room lacking even minimal amenities, but equipped with the mandatory metal door and food hatch. Since the inmate is held alone in carcer, it is extremely unlikely that they will need to observe any rules of etiquette there, except that it is advisable to maintain a polite tone when communicating with guards. Food is brought to the carcer by designated staff members and passed through the hatch. According to the rules, the inmate should carefully take the food offered and politely thank the person delivering it. Empty dishes should be placed back near the hatch so they can be collected. Because placement in carcer is first and foremost a form of punishment, the prison administration has many opportunities to abuse it. This is more the exception than the rule, but such cases still occur in modern prisons. Therefore, when entering prison, one should be prepared for this. Remember that detention in carcer that does not meet established standards may be classified as inhumane treatment, that is, torture, and therefore illegal. Article 5 of the Declaration on the Protection of All Persons from Torture and Other Cruel, Inhumane, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment states, "The training of law enforcement personnel and other public officials who may be responsible for persons deprived of their liberty shall ensure that the prohibition of torture and other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment is fully taken into account. This prohibition shall also, where appropriate, be included in the general rules or instructions governing the duties or functions of any such persons. Thus, if you were subjected to cruel treatment, you have every right to complain to your lawyer. An investigation will be initiated, and those responsible will face appropriate punishment. Any person who claims that they have been subjected to torture or other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment by a public official or at their instigation has the right to submit a complaint to the competent authorities of the state and to have their case examined impartially. Declaration on the Protection of All Persons from Torture and Other Cruel, Inhumane, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment, Article 8. Carcer not only negatively affects the physical condition of the inmate, but also humiliates human dignity. This situation is addressed in Article 3,
which also distinguishes punishment carried out in a degrading manner from ordinary punishment provided for by Russian law. In order to protect prisoners from inhuman treatment by prison administrations, on December 9, 1975, the United Nations adopted the Declaration on the Protection of All Persons from Torture and Other Cruel, Inhumane, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. This declaration provides a definition of torture and emphasizes its danger to society. For the purposes of this declaration, torture means any act by which severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, is intentionally inflicted on a person by or at the instigation of a public official for purposes such as obtaining information or a confession, punishing them for an act they committed or are suspected of committing, or intimidating them or others. This definition does not include pain or suffering arising solely from lawful deprivation of liberty, inherent in or incidental to such deprivation, to the extent consistent with the standard minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners. Torture constitutes an aggravated and deliberate form of cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. Article 2 specifically states that torture is absolutely incompatible with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, since any act constituting torture or other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment is an offense against human dignity and must be condemned as a violation of human rights and fundamental freedoms proclaimed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This was the channel The Prison Code, Russia. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Good luck to you.